Two old guys that ain't taking their crap no more. You're listening to Earl and George.
Welcome back to another episode of Earl and George. My name is George.
And I'm Earl.
And your name is... We don't talk about him.
No, you don't.
Talk about his name.
No.
Welcome, everybody.
So you guys, I gotta point out.
Okay.
You didn't let me know I was supposed to wear the shirt.
Oh, yeah, today, yes. We are
we
color.
We didn't coordinate.
We are color coordinated. Apparently, you didn't get the memo last night that we were all going to wear our Earl and George apparel today.
Swag.
This is the one clean shirt that I had.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat.
It was literally this morning I woke up and I was like, yep, wearing this one. That's how that worked. Welcome to Earl and George, a wrap-up show of the week's lunacy in politics. And we want to thank everybody for downloading this show. The show's growing by leaps and bounds. Thank you for listening wherever. I know Stitcher has been huge for us. Spreaker is big. SoundCloud is growing. And now, Earl, looks like we're going to be jumping out on YouTube. Is that the plan?
Yep. We're going to start posting stuff up on YouTube soon.
Check out our website, earlandgeorge.com. Go to the store. You can buy a bunch of Earl and George branded stuff. Not a lot right now. We're growing.
What's the deal with the presidential quote? What'd you call it?
Oh, the Founding Father flannel.
Yeah.
So the Founding Father flannel. We're still working out the details, but we're going to have our own line of flannel shirts. It will be branded Earl and George with our own label, and each Founding Father gets their own flannel pattern, right?
Yep.
And then a quote from that Founding Father is sewn into the inseam of the flannel shirt.
You know how I like quotes.
Oh yeah, man! It's the tree of liberty must be refreshed by the blood of tyrants and patriots. We've got it. It's going to be there. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you can made it. We're not going to buy any crap from China, and if it is crap from China, we're going to tell you where it may have come from, but we probably don't really know. But all the stuff that's made in America, we're going to let you know it's made in America. But sometimes you just need to pay Bangladesh sweatshop to make your T-shirts. That's the reality.
I personally like the Ben Franklin.
You like the Ben Franklin?
Yeah,
See, I'm a big John Adams. I'm a big John Adams fan.
I'm a Thomas Jefferson.
That's true. But you can go out to Earl and George, hit store, and check out all the stuff. That stuff's coming soon. And we want to thank everybody again. Our downloads are going up. Our interaction. And right now, if you're listening to the show on Spreaker, be sure to send us a text. We're logged in, and am I logged in?
Should be.
Yeah, we're logged in. Yeah. Let me refresh it. So if anybody sends me a text message, there we go. Yep, we're live right now, episode 7. So of course you can log in, say hello, and listen to us and send us chats and tell us how smart and brilliant and handsome we are. Coming up on today's show.
By the way, George is the cute one.
Look, the rule in radio is always trust your liner girl. That's the rule. Number 1, Hurricane Harvey recovery. Obviously, Houston hit hard. My friends in Houston running a radio show. They're probably going to be one of our first affiliates for our show.
Nice.
And of course, in Cullman, Alabama, one of the radio stations up there is they're like we're this close to picking up the show. So I'm calling them an affiliate already. Hurricane Harvey recovery. Houston just hit hard. And I've heard everything from you conservatives in Texas got what you deserved, to global warming made the store worse than it should have been, to it's Trump's fault.
Yeah. It was the lizard people.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Talk about the recovery. Houston, the president right now is in Houston. Also coming up on the show, North Korea launches another missile. This one was a big deal.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep. Also, a banana peel shuts down Ole Miss.
Seriously.
And Melania Trump, the supermodel, wears stiletto heels. That's pretty much the entire show.
No.
So thanks for joining us today, guys. We'll catch you next week. We have a lot to talk about. Coming up at the end of the show, obviously, our douche of the week. And there are too many to count. Too many
like you said,
count.
it's getting harder and harder to narrow it down.
It really is. And the douches seem to be lining up. Apparently, the awards we give out are cherished and prized now by the idiotic people that do stupid stuff during the week. So we'll talk about those guys. Also, an Indiana school has banned religious talk. But I want to talk about the most important story of the week. And that is Earl and George is a hit in Japan. Can I just say thank you to our friends in Japan, arigato, for listening to Earl and George. We appreciate you. I'm not kidding. People think, hey, it's okay, we're global, baby.
Yep.
We're global. So obviously the biggest story of the week is DACA. So let's dive right in and get that one knocked out, because we have differing views. We haven't talked about this off the air.
Right.
We were gonna, and Earl was like, "You're not got family that's going to be affected." And he says, "You're probably going to be, have a differing opinion." I said, "You're probably going to be surprised by my opinion." He says, "You're probably going to be surprised by mine." Obviously, we're talking about the deferred action of childhood arrivals. Now, let me get to the story here, and then we'll talk about it. Of course,
isn't this the one that's commonly known as the Dream Act?
the Dream Act. And by the way, I don't like the fact that they call it an act, because laws are called acts.
Right.
This was an executive action by President Obama. This was never voted on by Congress.
Right.
Okay, the Dream Act was a name that they came up with for deferred action of childhood arrival executive order. Now, President Obama even acknowledged that he was outside of constitutional authority to do this.
Yeah, I remember that.
So because he was outside constitutional authority to do this, of course, the Republicans, the conservatives were all up in arms. Now the question is, does President Trump have the constitutional authority to undo it?
Yes.
I say yes.
Because it's an executive order.
Right, because we have precedent. We have executive precedent.
Right.
So President Donald Trump is expected to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, better known as DACA, this coming Tuesday. Although liberals are up in arms about the impending doom of one of former President Barack Obama's flagship accomplishments, which simply was an executive order, and it's well within the current administration's authority to undo it. A former Trump immigration advisor has a strong take on why the program should end. I'm going to stop right there and talk a little bit about what DACA was. Okay, I call it DACA because I'm from the South.
Right.
We call it, well, it's not DACA, it's DACA, all right? So if an illegal immigrant family, and I don't call them undocumented, they're illegal aliens to me.
Right.
You have violated the sovereign laws and border of the United States. Sorry, that's the truth. If you don't like the truth, you're listening to the wrong show. Rachel Maddow will be on this afternoon. Okay? The truth is you have violated the laws and the sovereign borders of the United States of America. However, that family that did that brought with them an infant or a 1-year-old, a toddler, or let's say a 5-year-old. Here's the rub. 20 years later, that 5-year-old is now 25, for those of you that went to public school math, and they are, quote unquote, a fairly productive member of our society.
Right.
Their parents are the ones that brought them here. Their parents are the ones that violated the sovereign border. The kid didn't have a choice. Like, Mom, I'm going to stay in Colombia. No, you're going to go with the mom. You're going to go with the dad. So that's the problem we're in. And that's why the Obama administration said, look, let's take these quote-unquote dreamers, take them out of the shadows and bring them into the light. Now, the answer to the solution in George's opinion is not amnesty.
No, it shouldn't be.
Right. So here's my take on that. Your parents still violated the laws of our country, right?
Right.
But you have lived in this country in the shadows for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, right? If you live in California, you've been living off the dole probably, and you probably went to college, and you're probably now an illegal immigrant lawyer. I'm just saying, that's probably what happened. We need to follow the legal immigration laws of our country. However, I would say that there become a fast lane for these people that are in this situation. We're not talking about a lot.
Right.
All right. Of the 11 million or whatever it is illegal aliens in the United States, I believe that this very small percentage of children that were brought here by their parents, they should be moved to the front of the line. They're American citizens. They are, in essence, American citizens. Their parents are still the ones that violated the law.
Right.
Let's get those children, they're probably in their 30s now. Let's get them into the legal immigration process, bring them out of the shadows, right? Take away the fear of being deported. The parents are the ones who broke the law. They brought their kids. The kid didn't have a choice. That's my take on it. Is amnesty the rule? Is amnesty the? No, of course not. But also, here's why DACA needs to go. Okay, because one of the policies of DACA is that a person needs to, if they've committed a crime, then DACA doesn't apply to them. They're just like they violated our laws as an illegal immigrant. See ya.
Right.
Go dice. So before DACA existed, these criminals, these MS-13 guys, these gangsters, these illegal immigrants that have broken our laws were turned over to ICE. And because of President Obama, right, they are now just released because our system can't handle the number of illegal immigrants or criminals, for that matter, that are coming through the legal system.
Wow.
But as a unintended consequence, these MS-13 gangsters, let's just pull them out, they're not actually being prosecuted for the crimes. They're just being released.
Wow.
Well, check it out. They're now under the DREAM Act. They're now under the – go look and see how loud it is on the other computer and just turn it down. Yeah, that's all you got to do. So it's probably a really loud song. That's probably what it is. Because we can hear another song in our headphones. For those of you that are – is it really loud?
What's going on?
Yeah, just turn it up. And every now and then we get computer noise, and it's probably my computer and all kinds of weird stuff. But back to what I was talking about. So these MS-13 gangsters create violent crimes.
Right.
Don't get prosecuted. They just get released back into society. Unless they're convicted of a crime, they still fall under the DREAM Act. Way to go, Obama. Thanks, Obama. So I wholeheartedly support the president doing this. I don't think a full, complete, no kidding, get rid of it answer is the solution. We need to be able to create a path to citizenship that takes into account the fact that they've been here for 25 years.
Right.
That's my take on it.
Well, there's a lot of people that'll sit there and argue that, and I don't know this because, again, I've lived here my whole life, but there's a lot of people that I've heard during this argument in the last week that have said that for them to become a citizen, they have to go back to their country and sit in the embassy until we allow them to come in as a citizen. That's supposedly the procedure that they have to go through. And from what I know, because I have a lot of family that's from Mexico, the Mexican government is probably one of the most corrupt governments on this side of the planet. And they actually charge hundreds of thousands of dollars once you get back to the embassy. They start charging you a ton of money to become an American citizen. Case in point, my father-in-law ended up paying more money than he ever should have paid in his lifetime to become a citizen. And it was all because the Mexican government can get away with it. If we could somehow make it to where, like you said, put them on a fast track to become a citizen and make it to where the Mexican government is more limited as to what they could do, because there's a lot of people that end up going to Mexican prison after they go, and all kinds of horrible stuff happen. But I'm with you on the way that they need to find a way to fast track it, because, again, if they've been productive members of society and they're not committing any crimes, they're paying their taxes, they're doing everything they can, they are, in essence, an American citizen. They just lack the title, in my opinion. So I would want them fast-tracked. But like you said, the MS-13, which is what the Trump administration is focusing a lot on, with AG Sessions saying, that he's going after them. So they need to get that under control, because, again, Houston, that area is dealing with those people a lot more than like we are here. So
I want to say something very shocking. I would wager that most people listening right now have no idea that there's a percentage of the U.S. military that's not a U.S. citizen.
Right.
I have served with many, many foreign nationals who are trying hard to become U.S. citizens, and they join the United States military. Perfectly legal. They are allowed to fight for our country. And if you just said, what? I didn't know there was them foreigners fighting for America. Guess what, man? There are good people trying to become citizens, right? And I'm not saying that every single one of these quote-unquote dreamers needs to be fast-tracked to become an American citizen. But if they've been, like you say, if they've been here for, 20-something years, they were brought here as kids, they didn't have a choice, they've tried to live, they speak English, right. They're going to school, they're trying to live their life, we need to move them to the front. Now, that being said, the people who have gone through the illegal immigration system are going to be ticked off if, 100,000 people get moved in front of them.
Right.
So we've got to figure out how to do this right. But the first thing we need to do is protect the sovereignty of the United States. President Trump build the wall. I'll donate money.
Right.
I'll go down there and help work, man. I don't care. Here was my answer to illegal immigration. I don't know if I said this on the show or not. My answer to illegal immigration, and this is George speaking for George. I'm not talking for the show or any of our sponsors or anything like that. My answer to illegal immigration is this. If you would like to come to the United States of America and become a United States citizen, by all means, you are absolutely welcome. The first 3 years that you come here, we will house you, feed you, educate your children, and give you a job. That job is building a wall on the southern border of the United States.
I like it.
Anybody, any skilled laborer, if you come here and you're a doctor and you want to become a citizen, we'll make you part of the medical staff. If you're a computer IT guy, we'll make you part of the Build the Wall IT department. If you are a farmer, we will find a job for you. Anybody, and I mean anybody, can lift bags of concrete for 3 years. And you know what? That's not buying citizenship. We're going to pay you too. We're going to give you medical care because you're earning that benefit. And you want to know something? And if everybody's like, oh, it's slave labor, tell me about the people that have joined the United States military and are earning their citizenship in harm's way in Afghanistan right now.
Right.
You cannot look me in the eye and say that this is any different. And I would wager that the people who would uproot their family for a better life would walk across the border and say, I will build this wall for you.
Yeah.
Because in 3 years,
they'd be a citizen.
They'd be a United States citizen, free and clear, have a nice day, go do great things, start a small business, whatever.
Yeah.
I spent 4 years in Afghanistan. They can give me 3 years building a wall.
Right.
And when we're done with the southern border, we'll ship them to the northern border and do that one too. I'm not kidding, man.
Yeah,
that would
that's
solve
a
our
good
immigration.
point.
That would solve our immigration problem.
Yeah, and
Wouldn't it?
if they're in IT, like let's say that they're like a carpenter or something in Mexico, but they come over here and they want to try and get into computers, then they actually learn something by doing the IT, so they learn a skill too, so it helps them out. But the thing that I hate is when people start saying that, you know, we need to do the amnesty for people, which like the Marine that was out hunting in Arizona and he crossed into the Mexican border and stayed in Mexican prison for
the guy who made the wrong turn.
Yeah,
he made the wrong turn and he went down the wrong way. And
there was no help for him. There was no amnesty for him. And people
That's right.
are like, we need to have amnesty. Other countries don't. Anyway,
if you look up the immigration laws for Mexico, you'd be stunned.
right.
When we come back, we'll talk about how evil the president is, how he paid $1 million for a photo op in Houston. It's Earl and George, Aged Conservative Talk. We'll be right back.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to a pop concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel.
Or B, just roll with it?
Justin! OMG! I love you, Justin! I love you!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Mama always said that if you keep making that face, it's going to stay that way. You're listening to Earl and George.
Have you ever seen a presidential motorcade, Earl?
Yes.
It causes traffic issues.
That's
right?
to say the least, yeah.
And when the president comes to town, we've had President Bush here in Alabama. We broadcast from the great state of Alabama, Roll Tide. And
War Eagle.
For my Auburn, whatever. That other team. When the president comes to town, everything stops.
Yeah.
Literally everything stops. So this week, the President of the United States and First Lady Melania Trump, they took a trip down to Texas, and they were, they knew that relief efforts were still going on. People were still being plucked out of trees and cars and rooftops when they went down to talk to local officials. So they didn't want to get in the middle of Houston to survey the damage because they knew it would simply stop all of that. It would be a total and complete mess if they showed up in the middle of relief efforts in Houston.
Right, they'd be a nuisance.
Yeah. Oh, I would say they would be more than a nuisance.
Right.
How does the Secret Service, in the middle of a disaster, protect the President of the United States? Right? All of the relief efforts would stop wherever he went. Period.
Yeah.
Right? So he's basically asked to stay away. So where do they go? They go actually south of where all the damage was to speak to local and state officials about recovery efforts. The Vice President Pence was there. They talked to local officials about federal aid and federal disaster relief and FEMA. They talked to local officials. They went down to the city level and were talking to mayors of towns that were affected.
Right. Weren't they down, wasn't it Corpus Christi? Wasn't they down?
I don't think they were
area?
that far, but they were down there. Was it Brazos County or something like that?
Oh, okay.
So what does the media portray Trump doing? Not going to Houston.
Right.
You evil SOB. You went down there for you didn't go there and hug. Yeah. Now, the President of the United States, a very, very wealthy man.
Indeed.
Who is not taking a presidential salary and is donating that salary back to the United States Treasury, right? Giving up $400,000 a year, whatever it is.
Or he donates it to like charities.
Yeah, he donated to the school, and all that stuff. Has given $1 million, pledged $1 million of his own money, right?
Right.
To her. He didn't have to do that.
No.
He didn't have to do that. Has the media covered that? Or are they saying, well, that's not enough, billionaire? That's probably what they're saying. Now, today, the president, and by the way, what's the big story when they were like, we're going to go to Houston, the Hurricane Harvey, right? Did the media focus on the $1 million donation that he gave? Did he focus on the fact that he's working with local and state officials, by the way, which the President of the United States doesn't need to do?
Right.
To support them and really, help with these relief efforts with whatever the federal government can do. Is that what they're reporting on?
Nope.
No. They're reporting on Melania Trump's shoes.
Because that's what's important, right?
How petty, how absolutely disgusting and petty is the media?
Right. There was one, I can't remember what article I read, but they said, she didn't want to get mud on her feet, so that's why she wore her 6-inch stilettos or something.
Can I just say that she wasn't in Houston?
Right. When she was wearing the heels.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Right. She changed her shoes into tennis shoes when they got to Houston.
Yeah, well, both of them changed on Air Force One.
Yeah, they all changed. They changed out of what they were wearing in D.C. They changed on Air Force One into more casual clothes because they were going to go down and spend time with the victims, and they were going to talk to the local officials.
Right.
Which is the President of the United States seems perfect.
Yeah,
okay? And when they got to Houston, what were they talking about?
The people of Houston.
No. What was the media talking about?
The media, yeah. They were talking about her shoes.
Nope. They were talking about her baseball cap and aviator sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, because it said FLOTUS on it.
Yeah. Now, nobody cared when Michelle Obama wore exactly the same thing.
Right.
There are pictures side by side. Now, the only difference is Melania Trump says FLOTUS on the bill of the cap,
right.
Which is funny. But here's my take. Guys, I think you will agree with me. Melania Trump in stilettos is smoking hot. Can I just say that? Donald Trump, you have done well, sir. Seriously. And she gets off the plane wearing jeans and a T-shirt.
Right. And tennis
that is
shoes.
a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a stunningly beautiful woman. I just think the pettiness of the now the president's going to be like, I heard you're talking about my wife. Yes, Mr. President, come on the show with us.
Well, and the whole thing that made the liberal or the left-leaning media their people don't actually investigate, which we say time and time again.
Yeah.
Whatever we say on the show,
don't believe us.
Go and look it up for yourself. Yep. It was the picture. It just so happened to be raining in D.C. that day, so people took that picture and ran with it on Twitter and all the other social media, saying that she was touring Houston with those stilettos on. I'm like, y'all didn't even bother to watch the rest of it.
Yep.
I digress.
All the Secret Service guys are all wearing jeans and T-shirts,
right.
And so they went down there. Now the president's down there today. They're actually meeting with victims. Why today? Why today? Well, I'll tell you why today. Because the majority of the rescue operations are now over.
Right.
The water in some areas of Houston has started to recede. Other areas are obviously because of the damage to some of the reservoirs are still flooded. But now the president can go and tour the damage and talk to victims and talk about relief to the people that are victims of this tragedy without being a nuisance to the rescue efforts.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you that you didn't go to Houston and hamper the National Guard. And can I just say, as a former member of the Alabama National Guard, Texas, you guys are rock stars. The Texas National Guard.
Indeed.
There were guys getting to work by boat. Well done.
It was awesome.
Hats off to the Texas National Guard. I have friends of mine in the Texas National Guard. You guys are rock stars. Okay? This storm could have killed hundreds. How many have we lost so far? I think 28.
I think it's in the 30s.
30s now?
Yeah.
So the president is now touring the damage. He's obviously giving of his own money. I got to say, a great job to J.J. Watts from the Houston Texans.
That was awesome.
Challenged his viewers on Instagram and Twitter for $1 million. I think they're in the $13 million now.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing. What you're seeing on when they truly show you how Houston is coming together. And it doesn't matter what your skin color is, and it doesn't matter what your national background is, and it doesn't matter what your religion is. I saw that video of those people making a human chain out to a submerged vehicle, and I said to myself, I pointed at the TV and I yelled at my kids, and I said, that's my America right there. Not Antifa, not the neo-Nazis, not crazy people protesting in Berkeley. That's my America.
Yep.
Isn't it kind of sad, and I don't know, I mean, this is just my opinion, but it seems that people come together only when there's like a tragedy. You know what I mean?
I disagree.
Well, no.
And I think that the media, more people come together when there's a tragedy. I'll agree with you there. But
I'm not saying that people don't come together, but
right. But what I'm saying is, I sort of agree. I agree that it's covered more.
Well, no,
all across America every day.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. But the media is not going to show you that.
Oh, no. But, I mean,
because that doesn't sell papers, man.
At the same time, you're right. That's completely right. People want to hear negativity, which baffles my mind versus positivity. But at the same time, I mean, when you have a tragedy, everything gets put aside, and then skin color and all that stuff, for the most part, gets put to the side. And you're a human being trying to help another human being.
Here's the sad part. The sad, by the way, it's Mr. Producer. He doesn't have a name. I don't know what his parents were thinking. They called him fill in the blank, literally. So, here's the sad part.
Shoot.
Americans have very short memories.
Yes.
This is true.
Okay. I was picking up flags out of the street in October of 2001. Okay. Remember, everybody had their flag.
Right.
Everybody had flag. Everybody. A month later, 2 months later, those flags were gone. They were in the gutter. I remember specifically getting out of my car and picking up a flag out of the gutter that had come off of somebody's car. How many people our memories are very short.
This is true.
Okay? So all of the good things, all of the people coming together to save each other in Houston, I guarantee you will be gone next month.
Probably.
Now, this is going to take a long time to fix the damage. All right.
Yeah, and the estimates right now are at $150 billion, and they're not even done. And that's exactly, ironically, the amount of money that Obama gave to
I was going to say, maybe we can get it back from Iran.
Right. By the way, the Houston Chronicle says the death toll is at 50 now.
Oh, so 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have been thousands.
Yeah.
If we were if we were Indonesia, it'd be thousands.
Yeah.
Right? Katrina was how many?
I think it was 1,200.
12,
something like that.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little global? Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to stick on the Hurricane Harvey, because we've got now Hurricane Irma out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Category 4.
But when we come back, we're going to talk a little global warming, and did it actually have an impact on this storm? That's the question, America. Let us know what you think on Spreaker. You can also call us at 800-684-9925. It's Earl and George. Yesterday's news and aged conservative talk right here. We'll be right back.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn earrings today.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Michaela's got like the best earrings.
Sarah, buckle up.
I wish my name was Michaela.
We're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
It can be tough getting through to kids, but it's your job to make sure they're wearing your seatbelts. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Smoother than aged whiskey and tighter than turn 4 at Talladega. Earl and George.
You know, I haven't had a sweet tea in like a month and a half.
How's it still going?
I'm down about 16 pounds.
There you
I was
go.
hoping to be in the 240s this week. I only lost about a half a pound. Maybe it was the beer and chicken wings. I don't know.
That'll do it.
But I'm telling you right now, I haven't lifted weight one. I'm down about 16 pounds.
There you
So
go.
I was hoping to see a 2.4 on the scale. We'll go another week, and if I'm still at 2.50 point something, cardio, baby. I'm starting the cardio. It's Earl and George, where you're going to get the truth, no matter what the truth is. And if you don't like the truth, go listen to Rachel Maddow.
By the way, her today.
By the way, well, here's the thing about Rachel Maddow. A lot of people listen to this show will just learn. I once challenged Rachel Maddow to a sumo suit wrestling match. And can I just say that Rachel Maddow is a pissed off little boy? Can I just say? I mean, that dude's got issues.
So this is what you heard. This.
You're back to that one, New York. Yeah.
She's not the same chick that wore tampons as earrings, right?
No,
that
what?
That was
different.
Melissa.
That was Melissa Harris Perry.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa, what?
Yeah.
So the media doesn't want to give Trump kudos for going down and not messing up the rescue efforts, and then when he does go down to talk to the victims, nobody cares.
Right.
They want to talk about how Melania Trump is out of touch with the poor people in America for wearing a baseball cap.
And designer sunglasses.
Which I wear a baseball cap and designer sunglasses too, but I'm not a supermodel in stilettos. And I would rock those stilettos. Now, Hurricane Harvey. My friends in Houston, man, they got hammered.
Yeah,
they got hammered. And I was in my office, and a guy that I work with walks over, and of course he's, bleeding heart liberal, and we get into all kinds of tussles, let's say. And literally had the balls to walk up to me and say, "You conservatives got what you deserved in Texas."
Damn.
And I immediately took out my phone, hit record on the video, and held it up and said, "What did you just say?" Didn't have the balls then. Turned around and walked off. And I said, "Did you just say that people in Texas got what they deserved?"
Wow.
He walked off. Now, I say that because if you've got the nuts to say it openly in public,
then you should have enough.
Yeah, exactly. You should have the gusto to man up, okay? So that man's a coward. By the way, he is my douche nominee. I'm not going to say. We will call him
Mr. X.
We'll call him. Let me make it Michael.
Smith.
We will call him Michael. Steve.
Steve.
We'll call him Steve.
Everyone looks like a Steve.
Everybody's Steve to me. Steve, my coworker.
Wow.
And by the way,
Wow.
that right there is
So
a microcosm. Hold on, of what we say all the time about the diseased liberal mind.
Indeed.
Because if he has the nuts to say that to me, I'm an openly constitutional conservative. I believe the word of God. I'm that guy, right? But if you come up and you say that to me, and my response back to him was, "Are you going to say that to all the people who voted for Hillary who are underwater in Houston?" I dare you to walk up to a liberal in Houston who are being rescued from their rooftop just like their neighbor who voted for Donald Trump. And I dare you to say, "You got what you deserved because
Right.
Texas voted for Donald Trump."
Right.
So that really happened to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
This past week. Yep.
Well,
and that's why I took out my phone and I immediately started recording, and I was like, "Say that again. I double dog dare you, you yellow-bellied coward. Say it again because I'm going to make you famous."
Yeah, it would have been a great soundbite.
Oh, man.
That's
Yep.
surprising, man.
But he's not the only one. I mean, they did it all over social media. The liberals and the left and the liberals were sitting there screaming about that the conservative people, the people that voted for Donald Trump, how they like him now. You're getting what you deserve, all that kind of stuff, which is crazy. But
right, as though 100% of the population of Houston, Texas, voted for Donald Trump. We know that's not true. And there are, and I put out on social media, I said, there are Democrat people in the National Guard rescuing conservatives, and there are college professors screaming about global warming being rescued by science deniers, and vice versa.
Right.
And guys, it's not about that. But you know what? Everything is about that.
Right.
Oh, well, and I wanted to say to him, it's really loud. Just turn it halfway down. Just reach over there and click on this. Yeah. So I wanted to say to him, and I wanted to say before he walked off, I said, me and my business partner are raising food and clothing to send down to Houston, and my business partner is actually thinking about taking his food truck down there so that we can feed people. What are you doing?
Right.
Besides mocking the conservatives, he came back. He came back again. But before he actually said that one, he was like, "Don't tell me that global warming doesn't exist. Don't tell me that climate change isn't a factor in this storm." And I was like, okay, so let's
talk.
A little bit of logic. And I said, so you're saying that in the last 5 years we haven't had a storm hit the United States, but now we have, and that somehow proves man-made climate change? Well, this storm is intense and it's dropping all this rain. And I said, okay, so all of the storms that are not intense, does that disprove global warming? Does that disprove climate change? Well, you just can't admit that it's human activity is a factor. I said, I will absolutely admit that human activity on Earth is a factor, but not to the extent that it is changing the climate of our planet.
Right.
I said, you forget that there's this giant burning ball of hydrogen in the sky. That has more to do with the climate of our planet than whether I use a styrofoam cup or not.
Right.
What kind of light bulb I have. I
Plastic
seriously
bag.
doubt the light bulbs in my house have anything to do with the severity of a storm in the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. But they got us to change our light bulbs because of that. So.
I haven't.
Really? You still got the old ones?
I'm an incandescent burning SOB.
Dude, I can't even find them anymore.
Boom. I'll point you to Home Depot. They got a tiny little section, and it says conservatives only, and you can just go and buy the. Now, by the way, I will take care of the environment. So yes, we do have LED lights.
Yeah.
I'm starting to go LED, but it's just I'm not gonna go down that route. I know what causes Airfingers quote weather. I know what causes Airfingers quote climate. Okay. Does human activity increase carbon dioxide levels and by the way, was it us that went through the whole cycle of why carbon emissions from humans should be good for the environment? Did I tell you that one?
Yes.
Yeah, and we went through the whole thing. I was like, why do you people hate global climate change?
Right.
Think about it. If we increase the carbon dioxide level on the planet, that's what plants breathe. And what do plants exhale, fingers quote? Oxygen. So human habitation increases the carbon dioxide level of our atmosphere, causing, what do they call that? The greenhouse gas effect?
Right.
Doesn't that help plants? Doesn't that increase more oxygen production in the environment? I'm sorry, but I breathe oxygen.
Right.
I want more oxygen in the atmosphere. Anyway,
me too.
we laugh and joke about it. And then I have the idiots that walk up and they see me pouring water on the grass, and they're like, don't waste that water. You did it the other day. You did it. And I was like, we can't waste water. We live in a closed ecosystem.
Yeah.
What? That's what I get, right? These people, they just don't understand.
Oh, well, I didn't pour it in the grass. I was going to pour it down the sink.
Yeah.
No, but he was
Same
saying,
difference.
Yeah.
Well, the grass is alive.
You were saying don't waste the water.
You can't. It is impossible.
Gosh.
No, I'm not talking about you anymore. But when I say stuff like that, they're all like, huh? They're like, oh, you didn't hear that on CNN, did you?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to go look it up. Read a
sort
book.
of kind of live in a closed ecosystem. It's amazing how that works. A million years from now, that my pee will eventually be our drinking water.
I found it funny, though. Well, I shouldn't say funny because of the severity of everything, but you know how Vice President Gore is always talking about, we got 10 years before everything starts melting and everything. That's the first major hurricane to hit the United States in 12 years.
Yep.
So even one of the most famous climate guys out there
wait a
was
minute.
wrong.
Sandy was 5 years ago.
No, but it was the first major hurricane.
I would say Sandy's a relatively major hurricane. The
Because
devastation of Sandy was huge.
According to the Weather Channel, the last one that they recognized
Katrina.
was Wilma.
Wilma.
In 2005.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. It says the Hurricane Harvey was the first major hurricane to make landfall in the United States since Wilma in 2005.
And who is this source?
It was the Weather Channel.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to defer to the people that know the weather.
And it said ending a record 12-year period with no major hurricanes making landfall in the United States.
Are you telling me the Weather Channel are climate deniers?
Well, the dude that founded it is a famous weather denier.
Climate denier.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. All right. So let's talk about Hurricane Irma for a minute.
Yeah, this one's interesting.
By the way, my wife's aunt's name was Irma. And if you don't know how storms are named, it is male, female, alphabetically.
Right.
That's how that works. So H was Harvey, male, H, female, I, Irma. And every time my wife looks at that, she's like, they could have named it Irene or, something else.
We've had a hurricane.
We've had Irene. Yeah. And by the way, the names are listed years in advance. Like they know what, how many names they're going to get to. So, the Hurricane Irma. If you go on social media now and share something that shows a storm track of it hitting Texas, don't.
Really?
They don't know where. Okay.
Right, yeah.
They can't predict where it's going to be in 2 days. So don't think a week from now. Is there a potential for it to enter the Gulf? Yes. Is there a potential for it to hit Texas? Yes. But is it going to? We don't know. Can we just say that? Don't trust this nonsense. I saw pictures that were supposedly from Hurricane Harvey of sharks swimming down the street.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of research, and that was Puerto Rico. And then supposedly the gators, and there were some gators in backyards, and that's fine. The picture of the airport where all the Delta planes are underwater, and okay, that's not Houston. Okay, there were a lot of, and people will do that just to get a rise out of you and to get likes.
Yeah, it's all
Guys,
they care about.
Please. Don't listen to what we say as gospel. Go and do your own research. And for God's sakes, don't share something on social media that's not true.
Vet it, yeah.
Please vet what you share on social media. And if you're one of those people that puts out that fake stuff, shame on you. Don't do that. That's wrong, man.
The thing that's going to keep Irma out of the Gulf right now is
Donald Trump.
is the pressure, the Bermuda pressure. If that collapses, then there's a good chance it'll hit the Gulf. But quickly, I looked up Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
And Hurricane Sandy was only a Category 2 hurricane, and it only caused $100 million in damages.
Only a Category 2. Yep. Harvey was only a 3.
Yeah.
Harvey was a 3.
Oh, no. Now it says $75 billion in damages.
What, Sandy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, that was huge. Remember, they shut down the Northeast forever.
And I remember him referring to it as Superstorm Sandy, so that's why I had to look it up. But
the
this is from Wikipedia.
But the interesting about Harvey is the way it tracked. It goes 100 miles inland and turns back around and comes back and then hits them again, right?
Right.
I was landing Thursday night. Just point this out. And I got to give credit to the pilots of the plane I was flying in. I've never had a landing like that, and I'm a pilot. I don't fly commercial jets, but I was a pilot. And by the way, I say that not to brag. I say that simply because I have a frame of reference.
Yeah, you understand.
I'm not a current pilot now. I mean, my license is lapsed. But most pilots, they get ragged on because as soon as you say, well, I'm a pilot. Oh, okay.
You're a pilot, yeah. You privileged white person.
Yeah, right. So kudos to the pilot of the Delta flight I was on. We left Detroit, and we were coming down right as the entire northeastern area of Mississippi was under a complete thunderstorm watch, and the northwestern half of Alabama was under that. 3 tornadoes spawned. We got 3 tornado warnings in Alabama, and we landed right smack in the middle of a what do they call that? The line, squall line. And that pilot, we fly around Birmingham a little bit, and we come into the pattern, and we come on down and land nice and easy, usually east to west. Right? No. This time, we came smack in from the north, literally flew right at a building, banked hard left. I mean, we were at about 500 feet. I'm not kidding you, man. We were at about 500 feet, gear down, right? Because I know what's going on in the cockpit.
Right.
came screaming in. The guy never slowed the plane down, and we landed with a tailwind. I know we landed with a tailwind because that's the way the storm fronts were going.
Right.
He comes screaming in, right? Tosses the flaps up just for good measure, lowers the gear, banks that sucker, and I mean we were in a good about 50-degree roll. Usually they only bank at about 20 degrees. And literally he turned the plane nose down, and we just went and we came screaming into that runway, running with the wind, landed. I mean, and you know how normally they stop the plane pretty quick in Birmingham?
Yeah.
No. All the way to the end of the runway, man. This guy, and it was raining, barely touched the brakes. He hit his thrust deflectors and, gunned it and slowed down. And it was a great job. The people on the plane were like, whoa, hey. And I was like, ooh, that's a good angle right there, buddy.
I was going to say, was there like a warning that came up? Did he say it was going to be a rough landing or
no,
anything?
Didn't say a word.
Dude,
and as soon as we banked left and leveled out, I look out the window because I'm flying on the right-hand side of the plane. I always have to fly a window seat. And I'm pretty far up in the plane. I look over, and I'm like, that's a building. Like, that's not pattern.
Right.
Like, they deviated from pattern on that. It was a great landing, so congratulations. My wife, and before we landed, two flights were diverted, and one waved off.
Really?
In Birmingham because of the weather. Tornadoes and winds and all kinds.
He didn't even want to chance it.
And, oh, man, he comes screaming in. It was a great landing. It was one of those where you're like, yeah. I was high-fiving the pilot on the way out of the plane. It's like, nice landing, bro. We're going to take a break real quick, and when we come back, again, they don't know where Irma's going. Nobody knows. But we do kind of pick on North Korea a little bit.
Just a little.
Okay? How come the storms don't hit North Korea? Can I just ask the question? I mean,
they got a cooler climate, though.
Seriously? I mean, if anybody needs to get hit by a hurricane or a tsunami, it needs to be
yeah.
those people.
Yeah.
North Korea launches another missile. We'll talk about that when we come back. Join us, 800-684-9925. You can join us on Spreaker as well, of course, if you're listening live. Jump over, send us some chats on Spreaker, and thank you guys for downloading our SoundCloud, our Stitcher, our Google Play, and the mobile app.
The official app, yeah.
The official mobile app, Earl George, on its way to becoming a bestseller. It's free. We'll be right back. It's Earl and George. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, Mom. Is Claire's birthday party today? Me again, Mom. Where did I put my history book? Hi. Sorry, forgot one last thing. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. At school, I start looking out the window, and then I forget what I was supposed to be thinking about. I know it seems like I don't care, but I do. It's just difficult for me. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Earl and George, Aged Conservative Talk.
North Korea launches another missile. This time, this was a two-stager.
Right.
Flew over Japan.
Caused them to panic.
Oh, they freaked out.
Sent text messages out to people to get to a shelter, everything. It was serious.
I'm trying to find the name of the missile. Because they have the best names for the North Korean missiles. I think one was the Pudong. I'm not kidding, dude. They have the best names of the North Korean missiles. Name of North Korean.
It was a
missile.
Hwasong.
Yeah, a what?
Hwasong.
Hwasong. Are you sure it wasn't the Hamnong? That was from 1990. Or the Hunha. Or the Muzaden. Here is a report from the North Korean missile launch. Go, Mr. Producer.
광명성 3호 2호기 위성 발사 성공.
Okay.
12월 10일 평안북도 철산군 소일 위성
So
발사장에서
let me translate. Go ahead. Play it really low, and I'll go and translate. I've got the translation here. the great country of North Korea, with the supreme leader's will and attention and divine knowledge, has launched another missile toward the evil capitalists and aggressors of the American imperialists.
Yep, that's about right.
This one surprisingly did not blow up in mid-flight.
They wouldn't say that.
My family is now in a concentration camp. There you go. That's pretty much what that says.
We're going to keep on, and he's going to have us on a hit list.
Don't care. I don't care. Oh, man. The zit on a pig, as you know, that's my favorite nickname for Kim Jong-un, the zit on a pig. This missile, man, this was no
serious.
joke.
Yeah,
this was a no-joke missile launch. And again, we have talked about this ad nauseum. There is no good way. There's no good way to stop this guy.
Nope.
And you have the smartest military minds in the United States, and these think tanks and these organizations that are supporting the Joint Chiefs and so on. They're all wargaming this. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we wargame with our allies. Like I'm sure we have plans to invade Israel. Okay, I'm just saying, but there's no good way out of this. Kim Jong-un and the North Korean regime is totally in control of the situation.
And quickly approaching World War III.
Yes, and they know it. And I wonder, I sit back and I'm like, why have they not launched yet? Like, because, this is the guy that's going to be like, what the hell? Boop.
Right.
Missile launch.
Yeah.
Seriously.
If there's going to be anybody, it's
going to be him. And he's going to go, let's see what happens. Boop.
It's second only to Iran. But they don't have theirs yet, so.
Well, the Pakistanis do.
Right.
And the Iranians don't. And they're, show me the difference. So I don't know what is stopping him yet. I think what's happening is when they have a missile that will carry, 5 megatons, let's say, right? And they know they can hit, because they've already said we're going to shoot New York. They literally said we're going to bomb New York. Now, we have also sent an anti-missile missile up, and successfully last week shot one out of the sky, right?
Right.
So we are actively trying to defend ourselves from the zit on a pig and his nuclear program. But I just, why hasn't he done it? The guy's crazy enough to be like, whatever.
Well, supposedly he's going to hit Guam this week, because right after that launch, he said Guam's next, and they've got it labeled for this week. The North Korean media lady was talking about it being.
Well, I'm sorry.
Week.
What was the North? You said the North Korean media lady.
Yeah.
The divine leader has said Guam, the island in the imperialist, capitalist, American evil artillery of military nonsense, has said they will be wiped off the map from the great North Korean Republic Army Air Force missile thing.
Wow. This article.
I'm nailing these translations. I'm just saying.
This article from the UK says North Korea will fire missile at Guam, but it's too scared to target the USA.
Now, if they hit anything other than water, and I mean they could hit a swimming pool in Guam,
right?
And I think everybody would be okay. But if they hit anything, I mean anything other than water, what will our response be is the question.
I think there was a report, and this could be wrong because I read, all kinds of things on the internet, different sites, but there was a report.
Oh, you're one of those.
Well, I read it all. I want to try and find the trail to everything.
You probably watch faux news, too.
No. But there was a report that said that we were already detailing what we would do in an assassination attempt against North Korean leaders. So I think our plan is pretty much in place.
Oh, God, send me, please. I would just gladly take him
What's
out.
the Israeli Special Forces?
The Mossad.
Yeah. We're supposedly working close with them for some reason. So
they're the best.
Yeah.
If you want someone killed, get the Jews to do it.
Yeah. And all you have to do is look at the Olympics after they went after the people that killed the Olympic team.
Yep.
That was awesome.
I mean, one of the famous things is what they did to the guy in, I think it was Dubai or Cairo. The Mossad set up a scam where they were, not a scam, but a thing where one of the targets that they wanted was in this hotel, and there's video of the guy getting on an elevator, and then two guys in tennis shorts are carrying tennis rackets. They get on the elevator, and then the guy ends up, dead.
Wow.
And they were like, those two tennis players are Mossad agents.
Awesome.
I have, look, man, I have no problem with. Can I just say on national radio that I have no problem with political homicide?
Yeah,
I really don't.
yeah.
I mean, send James Bond to do the job. Right? Where's MI6? I mean, we got MI5, but where's MI7? I mean, we need a 00. Anyway. And if anybody needs to take a bullet to the face, it's Kim Jong-un. Seriously. What do you think what would happen? What would his generals do? Probably be like, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead.
I would hope.
Seriously.
But supposedly there was when he killed his uncle, that was one of the high-up generals or something.
Can I just say, by feeding him to rabid dogs.
Right. Tore him to pieces.
And that it's like, I want sharks with frickin' laser beams on it. That's how I see this guy.
$1 billion.
I see him that silly. Like,
right.
Feed him to the dogs.
Well, but supposedly the whole reason he killed his uncle was because he was planning a military
coup.
Yeah.
He had his half-brother killed.
Yeah.
He had his uncle killed.
The half-brother was an awesome hit, though. I got to give the guy credit. I mean, it really was. In the middle of an airport, he hit him with some kind of poison and killed him within minutes. That was awesome.
I mean, if you look
Sick,
back,
but awesome.
If you're like us and you study political assassinations, some of them come to mind of the really good ones, like the Russians irradiated the guy. Right?
Yeah.
The Russian irradiation one, that was a good one.
Died in the UK.
Yeah,
that was,
like 6 months later, the guy died of like toxic radiation poisoning or something. So I don't know why we got off on this topic, but why can't we do that to Kim Jong-un?
Oh no, we've probably got a plan, but if we don't, it would be because we would fear the backlash from China. That's what I think. I think if we did anything towards North Korea, the reason we haven't done it is because we fear what China will do to us. And how you bring up the money, how they'll call our debts, I think that's really what has our hands tied.
Yep. And that's probably why we're working with Israel.
If it was if it was Iran, if it was anybody else, I don't think there'd be any hesitation in doing some kind of a strike. But
right
with
now,
North Korea,
now there's an NSA guy in Washington listening to our show going, "Shut up, guys! Seriously, just shut up."
I look forward to your phone call and meeting at my house in the middle of the night. No knock warrant.
Shut up. or Mr. Secretary, we need to hire these guys. We need to put them on the payroll. So Guam.
Right.
If they hit Guam, I have war gamed this backwards and forwards, top to bottom, inside and out, and here's the problem. The minute anything happens, North Korea starts shelling Seoul.
Yeah.
Conventional. But they have so many artillery pieces pointed south.
I don't think it'll be conventional. I think they'll have chemical attacks. I think they'll do chemical
that's conventional.
attacks. Yeah. Well, okay.
That's conventional warfare. Any non-nuclear is conventional. And I don't think he'll launch a nuclear missile, but he'll launch a lot of, V2s.
Right. I see him using ricin.
Yep. Yeah, ricin would be a good one. Shut up, God, seriously. Sorry, Steve, the NSA guy. And that's the problem. And like we keep saying, is he is in total control of the situation. Nothing we do ends well for either the South Koreans or us.
Right, and if they're targeting our Air Force base there, then it's going to even take us longer to launch a response.
No, because we have Gadina and Okinawa.
Well,
we could launch a response within minutes.
But the Guam base isn't that the Air Force base? Isn't that larger than the one in Okinawa?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But they're going to be the ones dealing with a missile hit.
Okay.
Okinawa will be like, send everything we have. Right. Goodbye, North Korea.
Japan's building up its military just because of China and North Korea.
And that's the thing we talk about. We can't actually build up American troops in South Korea because they'll just launch a preemptive strike.
Right.
So we're going to have to be heavily relying on the South Korean military, which, by the way, rocks pretty good because we've been training them for the last 30 years. And 48 years, I think it is.
Right.
And the Japanese military, who, by the way, also rock because we've been building that up for the last 48 years.
Well, I thought they weren't allowed to have a military.
Japan?
Yeah, because of our treaty with them.
No.
I thought they had to depend on us for some kind of military
Again,
protection.
The Japanese military is going to rock because
Right.
So look that one up because that's good. We're gonna have to get troops that are already there.
Which one? What am I looking up? The Korean War?
We'll look it up during the break here. We got to take a break for the top of the hour. We want to thank you guys for listening in. If you have an opinion on anything we say, give us a call, 800-684-9925. You can also reach out to us on Spreaker, our Facebook page, all kinds of fun stuff. Send us messages. Just Twitter. Oh, we got the Twitter thing?
Yeah.
You're an IT genius. You know that? But the website looks a lot better than when you did. Just saying.
Oh, thanks.
We'll be right back next hour. We'll talk about banana peels. We'll talk about banana peels, religious talk, and James Comey. So basically 3 banana peels. It's Earl and George. We'll be back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Hey, you, over yonder. You're listening to Earl and George.
If you look up crazy North Korean news stories, they have like all the good ones where Kim Jong-il played a round of golf and every hole was a hole-in-one. There's one where North Korean space program landed a human on the sun. I mean, there's so many crazy stories like that. And the people of North Korea believe it because they're so indoctrinated to believe anything they're told by the government. Dude, I'm not kidding, man.
Wow.
What do you look at? Are you finding something?
Well, I found it's Huffington Post is the first one that came up, and it's mostly about their haircuts first.
How many are there approved haircuts?
There are
14 or 9?
There are 28 approved hairstyles for men and women.
No, yeah, and there's only 9 for like men.
And
most of them are for women.
North Korea ordered male students to cut their hair like Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un.
Yep. Yeah, and they all do it.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating, that culture of whatever the government says. Hang on a second. There's a story. I'm not kidding you, man. North Korea lands man
on the sun.
On sun. There it is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. According to Reddit, North Korean channel news agency said the following news. Hang on. We quote, "We are very delighted to announce a successful mission to put a man on the sun. North Korea has beaten every other country in the world to the sun. Hong Tu-gong is a hero and deserves a hero's welcome when he returns home later this evening from the sun."
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he return?
I don't know. I mean, granted, some of that's probably fake or whatever. Just saying. You got to vet those stories. Okay.
By the way,
got to move on.
The Japan thing I was talking about,
yeah.
I remembered reading something about it, and it was a self-imposed ban.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, just had to clarify.
In the news, twisting a little bit, coming up this hour, we'll talk about the douche of the week. My coworker, Airfingers quote, Steve and Michael John Chris Phil, that's his name, by the way. He's going to be in there, and of course, Mr. Producer has a well thought out candidate for the douche of the week. Coming up, Ravneet Singh. Is that a name that sounds familiar?
Not to me.
Ravneet Singh was sentenced by a judge in Southern California to helping a billionaire funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars to a campaign coffers of a Democrat candidate who went on to win his election. The sentencing was the latest in a case involving 51-year-old Jose Susumo Azano Matsura of Guadalajara, Mexico, who was convicted of campaign finance violations among 30 charges in 2016. Law enforcement say that he wanted to build condos and high-end hotel in San Diego, and he purchased political influence to do it. How long was Mr. Singh sentenced to prison for campaign violations and actually colluding to change the outcome of an election in the United States? Anybody?
I'm going to say it's going to be minimal. It's going to be little.
I'm going to say life.
Life.
Earl? I'm going to say a year.
15 months.
Wow.
15 months.
Wow.
Anybody want to look up the law for having a controlled substance? Let's say weed.
Give me a minute.
You need Jeopardy music.
Da, na, na, na. It might be. I have to look on the sound effects soundboard. It might be on there.
I don't think we do have that.
Yeah.
We need to add it.
Misdemeanor, if convicted, you could face up to a year in county jail or a fine up to $1,000.
Really?
And that's actually California.
A year in jail for having weed and only 15 months for rigging a freaking election and funneling billions of illegal campaign dollars.
Well, it wasn't specifically weed. It was a controlled substance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But a year.
Well done, buddy. Well done.
For real.
Yeah. Our justice system sucks.
Yeah.
Can I just say that?
Well, it's still better than anything out there.
No, that's true. That's true. Let's see. Mess with an election, get 15 months. We just talked about that.
So Clinton's got nothing to worry about then.
Right, exactly. That's a great segue into our friend James Comey, who, that's the Antifa story. We'll talk about them in just a minute. Where's the one about?
I think Comey should be one of our tokens.
No, not that one. Where's the story about Comey? ACLU, FBI. Oh, yeah. No. Nope. That's
the NSA already made it go away.
Yeah. Shut up, guys. Seriously, shut up. Wow. Oop, I just closed the story I was going to talk about later. Oh, here we go. Letter from 2 Republican senators claiming that there is evidence former FBI director, who wrote this? Carlos Garcia. Probably an H-1B visa. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
We've had another one from
We read
him
a lot
last
from
week,
Carlos.
yeah.
He's a good journalist. I believe an ethical journalist as well. Letter from 2 Republican senators claims that they have evidence. There is evidence. Former FBI Director James Comey had made the decision to exonerate Hillary Clinton long before an FBI investigation into her handling of sensitive intelligence was completed.
Now I wonder why he thought that there was no reason to press charges if he hadn't even investigated or talked to her yet.
Conclusion first, fact gathering second. Quote, that's no way to run an investigation. The FBI should be held to a higher standard than that. Especially, did they have, were they holding Comey's kids hostage or something?
Wow.
Seriously. What did the Clintons have on Comey?
Oh, dude, there's no telling.
There's a dossier, because Hillary Clinton loves her dossiers.
And it may be tied back to the dude that worked for the DNC lady. The guy, the Pakistani guy that was trying to run away. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name, so.
Amram Awan.
That dude. I guarantee
Boy, there's so much rattling around in my brain.
Guarantee you he has some kind of connection to the Clintons.
Oh, they're going to take, yeah. If, like we said, if he makes it to trial.
Right. He's going to die. He's going to end up choking on something in prison.
Sings and if he sings, they're all going down. They're all going down.
Yeah.
Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa, and Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina. And I have a love-hate relationship with Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
I love to hate him. Wrote to the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, that Comey's preparation of the statement to exonerate Clinton in April or May of 2016 showed a prejudicial bias in her favor. No kidding. Grassley and Graham said a government watchdog agency, the Office of Special Counsel, provided them with transcripts of interviews showing Comey had begun drawing up the exoneration statement at least 6 weeks before he made it public.
Wow.
The time frame would put Comey's draft of the statement before certain key witnesses in the case were interviewed. I wonder what the timing was when the Attorney General met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac.
Oh, but they only talked about their grandkids and golf.
I wonder if anybody's going to put that link together. As my dear friend, Representative Maxine Waters says, we don't have any evidence, but we have to search until we find it.
Wow.
And they'll lead us to it. What's good for the goose, Waters, is good for the gander.
You're
okay?
racist.
Racist. Yeah, racist.
You just don't like the black woman from California, the black senator from California. You want to hold her down.
She's a strong black woman. I can't hold her down. She'll tell you she's a strong black woman.
Yep. That was my
And she'll tell you she's an avowed socialist. She wants to take over your business.
Of it, yeah.
Where's that play that cut, man. It's in there. You guys might have to dig for it. Look in the file sound bites. I'm telling you, Maxine Waters will tell you that she wants to take over your business and she wants to institute socialism. And as soon as she let it slip, remember what we talked about last week. Eventually, if you get them talking long enough, they will slip. Like BLM. We're for equality, and we stand against this. We stand against racism and capitalism.
Right.
What?
So which one do you want me to play?
It says Maxine Waters Socialist. Is that what it says? Just play it. I'll tell you if it's the right one. All you can do is just click on it, hit spacebar. See what happens. Well done. You still got to pot it up.
Oh, apparently.
Marginalize them.
No, not that one. Not that one. Keep going. We love Maxine Waters.
We have so many clips.
I am talking about strategies that work.
See?
We have
this liberal will be all about socializing.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Hang on, listen.
Would be about basically taking over and the government running all of your companies.
Wow.
Okay.
Wait a minute. So it sounds like she's kind of on an illegal substance. It sounds like she's been smoking a little bit of pot.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Well, she's old as dirt now.
California's probably in a pot drought because of what she sounds like. and then you hear the pot. Hey, this liberal's all about socialism.
Yeah.
I mean, basically what I'm and literally that's what she's like, oh crap, they got me recorded on that one.
Yep.
So I might as well talk my way out of it about the government, basically. And every other liberal in the room was like, shut up, Maxine, shut up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Don't give away our secret agenda to ruin America, you idiot.
Well, it's not like anybody except the conservatives are paying attention anyway.
An army vehicle gets stuck in Houston. Who shows up to drag them out?
The Cajun Navy.
Nope. The rednecks with paychecks and their monster trucks. In a thrilling video from the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, a U.S. Army vehicle is stuck in floodwaters. According to the videographer, people flagged down a monster truck passing by and hauled him out. By the way, the monster truck, big old tires, right?
Right.
It's a Cadillac Escalade.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's awesome. Go watch the video of the Escalade pulling the Army truck out of the water. Just have fun with that one. All right. Now what should we talk about? Ooh, let's talk about the 2020 election. Because
isn't that the one that Kanye said he was going to run for?
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
dude, I just got the video. That is awesome.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, I wish I had the sound. Oh man, it was good stuff. No. Where is it? There we go. Does the name Kamala Harris sound familiar? Kamala, Kamala, Kamala Harris.
It sounds familiar, but I may be getting her confused with somebody else.
Freshman California senator, which means this is her first term as a California senator.
Oh, wow.
Uber Democrat, right? But she is everything the Democrat Party wants. She's uber liberal, black, female.
Oh, yeah.
Senator Kamala Harris.
Is she
also
bisexual too?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that much about her. She is already being vetted as a 2020 Democrat candidate. Anybody want to know why? Other than what I stated, black, liberal, female from California, why?
She's the senator that they paraded up during the Obama administration with Eric Holder and all of that.
And why? Why did they do it? Does anybody remember why she's making a name for herself?
I don't remember.
Single-payer health care.
Oh, wow.
She is the biggest advocate for single-payer health care. So guess what's coming in 2020, friends? The entire election is going to be about single-payer health care. And I will tell you right now, if the conservatives and President Trump, and not even the president, if the conservatives in Congress can't get off their Mongolian wild ass and fix our health care system, she's going to win.
Right.
I'll tell you right now.
And she's another first-time senator. Yeah.
Because all she has to say for the entire election is, look what the Republicans have done to your health care.
Yep.
And remember what I said. I said it's all by design. Put on your tinfoil hats, everybody. Everybody get your tinfoil hats on, right? It's all by design to destroy the American healthcare and economy system and to be the ones to be there to save it.
Right. Yep.
They've created the problem. Now they're the ones to come and give us the solution. And the solution in the disease-liberal mind is, I just bit my tongue, single-payer healthcare. That's why she's already, after has it been 9 months, 10 months? Less than a year of the new administration, they're already picking their person to run, and they get to pick the topics by which we vote. All she has to do is stand up and say, our healthcare system is broken. The Republicans can't fix it because they failed to do it multiple times. I'm here to save the day. And every black woman in America is going to vote for her. Half the white women are going to vote for her. Half the Latino women are going to vote for her. Every Democratic man who is whipped by their wife will say, okay, I'll vote for her. Why? Because she's black and they don't want to be racist. This is a dangerous human being.
Yeah, she was also the Attorney General of California.
She's intelligent. She's well-spoken. She's attractive. She is everything the Democrats want, and they're going to put everything into her. And she's already starting to garner the Hillary money.
I don't even think I can't find anything about her being married or anything. So that'd be interesting if she actually chooses to run. They're going to have to spouse her up before, because we haven't had a president or a campaign person running for president to be single. But, I find it funny that all this thing about healthcare and, like you said, the single payer, and we're not too far out from when Ronald Reagan warned us about all of this, and nobody seems to remember his exact quote about how they were going to take over the country through our healthcare.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely true.
Because they don't teach that.
We're going to take a break right now, and I want to find out everything I can about Kamala Harris, Senator Harris from California, because I said when Donald Trump announced he was running for president, day one, I said, that's a dangerous candidate. And by dangerous, I mean you never know what he's going to say next. I would say that leading the pack for the most dangerous liberal in America is going to be Kamala Harris, because she just has to stand there and she'll get 51% of the vote. We'll be right back. It's Age Conservative Talk with Earl and George. Yesterday's news? Sure. When we come back, don't slip on that banana peel.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
It's amazing to watch.
Yep.
EarlandGeorge.com is the only website you'll ever need. Other than maybe StarTrek.com, in my opinion, but that's a story for another day.
What about Star Wars?
We're not endorsed or affiliated with them. Star Trek, man, they don't play.
They don't play around, yeah. Neither does Star Wars. I mean, Disney's not a joke, man. Disney's not a joke. All right. The banana peel story. I've been sandbagging this one. Let's see. Here we go. An off-campus Greek life event held by leaders of Ole Miss last weekend was canceled after many students became troubled by a banana peel hanging in a tree.
Oh, wow. Really?
This is not a joke.
Did it have a noose?
No. It was a banana peel hanging in a tree.
Wow.
According to the this, by the way, America, this is where we are, okay? This is where we are. According to the Daily Mississippian, many members of the community were hurt, frightened, and upset by what occurred, end quote.
Oh, my God.
Ole Miss Greek life leaders cut their 3-day leadership retreat to nearby Camp Hopewell short after black students discovered a banana peel dangling in a tree outside of one of the campus cabins.
Are you kidding me?
The banana peel was later spotted by Alpha Kappa Alpha president Macaulay McNeil, a leader from one of the campus's historical black sororities. The Daily Mississippian reported that McNeil had just left a group discussion about race relations when she spotted the banana peel in the tree. Quote, "The overall tone of the meeting was heavy," end quote. I mean, we were talking about race in Mississippi and in the Greek community, so there's a lot involved, end quote. She added that she and her friends were, quote, all just sort of paranoid for a second, end quote, after noticing the banana peel, calling its appearance, quote, so strange and surreal, end quote.
I can't even.
Alexa Lee Arndt, interim director of fraternity and sorority life at Ole Miss, noted that an open forum was held after hours of the banana peel had spread throughout the camp. Held after news of the banana peel had spread throughout the camp. Quote, as the staff member responsible for the well-being of our community, I felt it was imperative to provide space immediately to students affected by this incident to allow them an opportunity to voice their pain and concern, end quote. After the open forum, Greek life leaders decided to cancel the remainder of the weekend. For those of you just joining us, it's a frickin' banana peel in a tree.
Right.
In a letter obtained by the Daily Mississippian, Arndt was quoted as saying that, quote, members of our community were hurt, frightened, and upset by what occurred. Because of the underlying reality many students of color endure on a daily basis, the conversation manifested into a larger conversation about race relations today at the University of Mississippi. Another sorority president reportedly told the newspaper that the incident was especially painful because, quote, bananas have historically been used to demean black people, end quote.
Well,
newspaper reported that many of the students left the retreat in tears because they didn't feel welcome or safe. Ready?
Yeah.
Ole Miss senior Ryan Swanson, who was also in attendance in the retreat, said he discarded the banana peel in the tree because he could not find a trash receptacle. Swanson told the newspaper that he sincerely apologizes for the events that took place the past weekend. Although unintentional, there is no excuse for the pain that was caused to members of our community, Swanson said. I have much to learn and look forward to doing such and encourage all members of our community to do the same, he said.
Are you freaking kidding me?
I know, I want to cuss so bad right now.
Dude.
I know. Can you get the tone ready? Can we get the tone ready? Yeah. These people are f***ing crazy.
They're out of their mind.
You gotta emphasize it.
You gotta do it like this. They're out of their f***ing minds.
Do it one more time.
They're out of their mother f***ing minds.
There it is.
Wow.
We'll let you fill in the blank. I was using the word
banana.
I was using the word banana.
No, I mean I can give it. I can understand how they say that it was used in the past because it was, but at the same time, really, it caused them to stop everything over a banana peel.
Well, I'm not done.
Oh God.
Wait,
I am not done.
Oh, please tell me you are.
McNeil told the newspaper that the image affected her in such a negative way because of an incident that occurred in Washington, D.C.'s American University campus in May. The FBI helped the university investigate an incident in which bananas etched with what were said to be racial references were hung from trees the very day that the school's first female black student government president, Taylor Dumpson, was to take office.
Wow. The FBI. Yeah, That's a good use of resources.
The bananas at the American University campus featured messages like AKA free. Really? AKA. Like Alpha Kappa Alpha?
Right.
What was perceived a reference to double sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha and Harambe bait to reference the gorilla at the Cincinnati Zoo was killed after child fit in the cage.
Are we still on that?
Several bananas were said. God forbid the banana racism. Several bananas were said to have discovered scattered on the campus and were strung away. I can't.
You're not reading this
They're
from the
racist
Onion,
to be.
right?
These people are out of their ever-loving minds. That's the diseased liberal millennials. And by the way,
hey,
Democrats, congratulations. You have won an entire generation of snowflakes that are scared of bananas and trees.
Yeah.
Hey, what would you consider me as? Because I'm neither nor.
You're neither nor what?
Neither nor liberal or conservative.
I don't know.
I'm right in the middle. I'm this weird third party.
I don't care. I would say that you are a
what would I be?
Self-thinking, intellectually diverse American citizen.
America.
You go issue by issue. You do not have a disease in your brain other than the ones you have that we all have.
And you won't because you're part of this show.
That's right. We wouldn't let you be here if you were.
No.
Get out, liberal.
Get out.
Isn't that insanity?
Yes.
It is absolute insanity.
I don't know how you could even read from your notes without.
And they're all like, I'm offended by that tree with the banana in it. And instead of going, oh, shut your pie hole.
So I got a question.
They're all like, oh, you're right. Here's a safe space for a teddy bear to save
I
you from
have
the
a
banana.
question.
What?
Do they have the same reaction when it is a banana tree?
Oh, my God, you're right. How racist are these countries that grow bananas?
Exactly.
I love the fact that guys like, yeah, man, I couldn't find a trash receptacle, and it's biodegradable.
So I just
It's going to turn into dirt eventually. So he threw it in a tree, right?
Yeah,
and then he has to turn around and be like, I'm so sorry for the pain that I caused. I'd be like, dude, if I was like that, I'd be like, you ready? I'll be like, grow the up. I don't, guys, seriously. All I want to do is I have a banana every day. Every day.
Yeah, I do too.
I am going to find a tree every single day. I'm going to go to San Francisco. I'm going to eat a banana for lunch. And I'm going to be sitting next to the trash receptacle. I'm going to be like, right behind me in a tree. And then just stand there, videotape the results.
Yeah, I was going to say video.
People walk by and they're like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. I need a safe space. Oh. What's going on? What's the matter, ma'am?
Pig.
I'm so triggered. Why? There's a banana. Don't look. Hanging behind you in a tree.
It's
You're like,
hanging.
and then my response would be like, and then just pass out. Seriously.
Well,
I mean, they're equating it to like somebody scrolling or burning a Nazi swastika in your dorm room door.
Well, no, because
That's crazy, man.
They're black students, so there's not swastikas. It would be like
they wouldn't care if it was
cross.
swastika. Yeah, they wouldn't care if it was. My God. Is this what the next generation has come down to?
Isn't it sad? It's sad. I tell my kids every night because they tell us that my generation of kids is going to be the next big conservative boom. I don't know if it is or not, but I tell my kids every night that they're the only hope we've got left.
Oh, no, I'm totally opposite. I looked at my wife and I said, our grandkids are probably going to be the last free people in America.
Really?
I seriously doubt that the American
I only
institution
think we're a generation away.
I think the institution of constitutional liberty in the United States will not exist when probably my great grandkids are born.
Wow.
Now, my wife and I will be dead and gone.
Right.
Because I'll die in the Civil War. That's coming. I'll probably end up being one of the leaders of it. I got no problem with that. But it's, tinfoil hats are still on, everybody.
The next Robert E. Lee.
No,
Serious, man.
He needs to ride around in the orange.
I'm not kidding. I don't
Generally.
think. And here's what the tyrants do. Right? They cloak the tyranny in liberty.
Yes.
Right? They cover that with sweet tasting chocolate.
Like single-payer health
and then and then eventually the chocolate goes away, and you're left with the bitter pill of despotism.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen if not my grandkids, my great-grandkids. And they will still believe they live in that liberty, that constitutional. They won't even be able to read the document itself.
Right.
Because it's written in a foreign language called cursive. They will cloak the takeover. They will cloak the demise of our republic. They already have. They've cloaked the demise of our republic in democracy.
Right.
What does democracy always lead to?
Yep.
It always leads to socialism. And what does socialism always lead to? Communism. Because look up the Tytler cycle, Tytler. Tytler said it best. Tytler, when people realize they can vote themselves generous gifts from the Treasury, the end is near. You are on a paradigm shift where the majority of people will vote for the candidate that gives them more crap at the cost of everybody else. Did you pull up the Tytler cycle?
Yeah, but I pulled up an image of
it. Should be a graphic?
Yeah.
Right?
It starts, you want me to start at the top?
No, I want you to start with religious liberty, religious freedom.
It'd be spiritual faith.
Spiritual faith. Okay, so spiritual faith. Why did people come to the United States?
Just to be able to practice religion however they saw fit.
Exactly. They came, they escaped the tyranny that was there, which was an oligarchy. Don't let the monarchy
right.
Monarchies don't really exist. They always have to have a base of control in an oligarchy, a rule of the few. They came here to escape and live in and practice their faith as they wanted to in freedom. That leads to what?
Courage.
They began to create their own society and their own culture in the colonies and said, we are going to be a free people, and courage leads to what?
Liberty.
They created a constitution and a republic, not a democracy, based on what they learned from history that said this document protects the individual liberty of the citizen and limits the power of government. Liberty leads to what? Abundance. Look what happened with the boom in the commerce of the United States. In less than 200 years, we went from a ragtag band of British colonies to a global superpower.
With the currency head.
Abundancy goes to what?
Selfishness.
Aha. What happened with the dot-com boom? What happened after the Industrial Revolution with the robber barons? What is currently still happening in America with single-payer health care and the me generation? And what happens after abundance?
$15 hour raise.
Uh-huh.
Complacency.
Complacency is we got it pretty good. We're okay with having a trade deficit with Japan and China. We're okay with sending them our junk and them sending us stereo sets. Why? Because we can pay them pennies on the dollar to make our iPhones. We're okay with that complacency when we'll pay $800 a phone.
1,000 now.
Yeah. And complacency leads to what?
Apathy.
Are we in apathy? Tell me what's after apathy.
Dependence.
Where are we, guys? We have become apathetic to the liberty that was fought and won by every single generation of voter and soldier before us. I believe we went from complacency with the New Deal to apathy. We moved very quickly with the liberal agenda, and that's when we lost our republic, when the voice of the few equaled the voice of the many. That's also at the same time we lost the states appointing the senators, and they became direct electors of the people. You do realize that the Senate does not represent the people of your state. The Senate represents your state's interests.
Right.
Why do the people of the state elect a senator? I have no idea. That was the moment we lost our republic, and it all happened at the same time. Now, are we a dependent society on government?
Yes.
Absolutely. When you have government taking over healthcare, government bailing out industry, government taking and people believe that the role of government is in a democracy, by the way, which is not in any of our founding documents. The role of government is to, quote unquote, take care of the people What comes after dependence?
The last stage is bondage.
And right now, people are looking at me like, he's the smartest guy I've ever known. No, it's not difficult. We are well past complacency.
Yeah.
We are well into dependence. And the bondage is coming. The bondage is on the way. And that's why I believe, we'll take a quick break here, but that's why I believe that either not my generation, not my kids' generation, but we are 2 generations away. Either my grandkids or my great-grandkids will live in a tyranny disguised as liberty.
Like Venezuela.
Exactly like Venezuela.
Yep.
And if you don't believe me, why does Antifa wear masks? We'll be right back. Don't mean to scare you, but we'll be right back to talk about religious freedom. It's Earl and George. Aged conservative talk. Tell your friends and tell your neighbors. It only gets better from here.
Welcome back to the Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown-up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Mama was always right, because she said so. You're listening to Earl and George.
Yeah. I just thought of something. If Antifa is anti-free speech, right?
Right.
Why do they support football players kneeling during the national anthem?
I don't think they've thought it through.
Well, isn't it free speech to stand up with your hand over your heart during the national anthem?
Yes. We're not required.
So which one would Antifa fight against? The guys standing up for the national anthem or the guys kneeling? Both are expressions of free speech. I was just sitting here thinking about that because I don't think Antifa means anti-fascist. Said it before. Antifa really means anti-free America.
Yeah. And that would probably go along with why they wear their masks.
You know, Antifa and the neo-Nazis have something in common.
What's that?
They both hate Jews in Israel.
Yep.
Why are they fighting each other? They both hate Israel. They should be like, hey, we hate the same stuff. We got that in common.
Right.
It's anti-free America. Guess what the neo-Nazis want? They don't want a free America.
They want a superior race.
Right. That's not a free America. That's not my America. I didn't sign a pledge to defend the Constitution against enemies, both foreign and domestic, and put my body on the line for frickin' neo-Nazis.
Right.
That's not my America. I will stand against the neo-Nazis just like I stand against Antifa. Let the people speak. You know, they're trying again to get, what is it, Milo Yiannopoulos or whatever his name is, Ann Coulter, and somebody else back to Berkeley. And the mayor of Berkeley caves.
Yep.
So I sent you that text message. What did it say? It was like the left finally convinced the left to be more left. Something like that. I was like, when the mayor of Berkeley cancels a free speech rally because of fear of free speech.
Right.
And the violence that Antifa brings with their free speech.
Yeah, you said so the left has finally convinced the left to be more left.
Yeah. Guess who loses?
Everybody.
Yep. Everybody. The leftist mayor of Berkeley, California, has fallen victim to the leftist Antifa movement and has shut down. And you know his reason, I think it was him, his reason is like, we have to keep our citizens safe and protect their civil liberties. And I was like, by shutting down the free speech of the citizens?
Right, and he was worried about the reputation the city would get by doing this again. That's when I read
Berkeley.
the article.
Like they've already got Kent State has a higher reputation than Berkeley does.
But it seemed like he was more concerned with what people are going to think about Berkeley as a city than, he didn't want it to be Charlottesville or something like that, is what I got from reading it. I could be completely wrong.
said this weeks ago. As the clashes continue, the death tolls will rise. Yeah. Because baseball bats, my father was an English professor, and he was also a very spiritual man, and he said something to me. He said, I got into a lot of fights when I was a kid, and not that I started them, I ended most of them, but he said, you got to be careful of the people you defeat.
Right, because they're going to be mad.
Right, because if they can't beat you up, they'll try to stab you up.
Yep.
And if they can't stab you up, they'll try to shoot you. And they'll always come back. And in the military, we learn about escalation of force and things like that. So when the baseball bats are no longer working for Antifa, they're going to bring the machetes. When the machetes no longer work for spreading their mayhem and fear, they're going to start bringing their firearms.
Well, I was going to say that dude, remember I sent you the video of the dude in the hospital that got hit? He's the same guy that got hit in the balls by the...
Oh, yeah. The tear gas guy.
That guy...
I laughed. Dude, I watched the slow-mo.
Right, I did too.
I laughed.
And the sound effects that people put on it.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the one where did you see the one where they take the old video game Karate Guy and they're like, He's like, whoosh.
But that dude, I followed him. I went through a lot of his Facebook posts, and he's actually got his latest, at that time, his last Facebook post was he was wearing Kevlar, and he had what is I forget the name of it that y'all wear in the military that's got all of the pockets up front.
Oh, yeah, just like a ready vest.
Yeah,
up front,
yeah, where you can put all your magazines and everything in it. And he was loaded to the teeth with weapons.
And if anybody deserves to get shot in the balls by a tear gas canister, it's that dude.
Yeah.
Can I say that on the radio?
Who, by the way,
I should have said this. If anybody deserves to get shot in the jewels, it's that guy. I have watched that video back and forth 1,000 times in slow motion. I literally, I laughed so hard, I burped and did the other thing at the same time. I was laughing. So I'm telling you, dude, that was funny.
I tried to figure out why he was in the hospital saying that an OBGYN was coming to look at him.
It's the closest he's ever been to a woman. What? Okay. Remember what I said about the travel ban, President Trump's travel ban, how it was constitutional and the Supreme Court was going to weigh in on it. Blah, blah. Okay. There's an article out there. I just love the one where it's like no one is illegal when they hold up their signs, and it's so stupid, man. These people have no reality. The Trump administration and the LCU have settled an initial Muslim ban lawsuit. Travelers who were impacted by the initial ban and have not since been able to return to the U.S. can now reapply for a visa and will have access to free legal service to assist in the process. The case was Darwish versus Trump, nationwide class action lawsuit filed January 28, 2017.
Why did they file it specifically against President Trump as a citizen? Would be my question.
I don't know.
It should be the government.
The Supreme Court lifted the lower court order to blocking the executive order in June. Why? Because it's totally constitutional.
Right. It falls within the parameters of the executive office.
I think that every judge who makes a political decision from the bench that is overturned by the Supreme Court needs to be disbarred immediately.
I don't disagree with that
immediately. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals would start to rule by the law instead of rule by what their neighbor Bill has to say on the subject.
Yeah, or their campaign donors.
Yeah. No kidding. And those are federal appointees.
Right.
What the heck did Bush do?
Right.
Where were you, man? All right.
Well, he appointed that one to our district. What's his name? Bill Pryor.
We don't have a problem.
Right.
Our district court of appeals. Okay. Back to we were talking about religious liberty. An elementary school in McCordsville, Indiana. I would say that's the nation's heartland, don't you think?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Pretty close.
Was triggered. The elementary school teacher was triggered. What do you think happened in the school there, Mr. Producer? What do you think? Let's just throw it out there. Take your time, stretching, and coming to the microphone with a thought-out, well-rounded answer. What do you think?
I don't know.
Good answer. Earl, what do you think happened there in McCordsville, Indiana that triggered an elementary school teacher? Nice. Nicely done.
Well, I somewhat know already, but I was going to guess anyway because it's been in the news because of the Texas football guy. Yeah, I'm going to say it's along those lines.
Students at the elementary school began discussing. You got get the dun 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 before we go. Right. Began discussing God.
What? Really?
They were also discussing Jesus.
Oh, wow.
According to the Daily Reporter on Wednesday, the McCordsville elementary school teacher sent out a note to parents entitled, quote, "School Language."
Really?
End quote. Requesting that parents have a talk with their children about not discussing religion in the classroom. Now, the kid sitting next to them who was like, you ready? Got the tone ready. The kid sitting next to them in elementary school was like, y'all need to stop talking about that God thing. Now, that guy's okay.
Right.
There's no problem with them going, hey, you look good in them jeans. Right? Parents were shocked by the request and argued that their children have the right to talk about, by the way, it should be a capital R. I'll say that. Talk about the right to talk about their religious beliefs with their peers in the classroom. Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, they should. But I don't. Here again, my view on this entire subject is not with the medium.
God, she is so good looking.
Because of,
I'm sorry, Melania Trump's on TV. She could just stand there, and the president looks smarter.
Right.
Seriously.
That's what a lot of people claimed.
There's Ted Cruz. What's up, Ted? There's Governor Abbott standing. He's got in his wheelchair. He's like standing, but he's in a wheelchair.
Texas.
But yeah. And there, it's the governor's wife standing there, and Ted Cruz. Ted's wife is probably like, "I'm watching you, Ted." I've met them both. I'm watching you, Ted. He's a good guy. His wife.
Why is Abbott in a wheelchair?
I don't know. He's been in a wheelchair for a while.
Huh.
Yeah. Look him up. I don't know. And everybody's going to be like, yeah, conservative Republican governor of Texas can't stand up for the national anthem. Yeah, he's in a wheelchair, guys.
It was the banana peel.
Anyway, parents were shocked at the request. It all began when the teacher accused 5 students in the note of discussing religion despite the teacher's warning to not discuss it. Quote, with McCordsville Elementary being a public school, we have many different religions and beliefs, and I don't want to upset a child or parent because of these words being used, said the teacher, end quote, said the teacher in a note. Yeah. Words like God, Jesus, devil, right?
Yeah,
I have other words that he's probably scared of. Right, wrong,
work,
good,
truth.
evil.
Banana peels.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where we are. Congratulations to liberals again. Congratulations.
How did we even get to here?
Really?
We just talked about it. It's called the Tytler cycle. You just go look it up.
No, I understand that, and it's very self-explanatory, but at the same time, I mean...
It started with everybody getting a trophy.
You really? Is that what you think?
Yeah. I'm honestly, I think. Because if you go back and look at our
self-entitlement, I get what you're saying.
If you go back and look at how our PE classes used to be, like we were, the dudes in high school were buff. I mean, they would rival Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime back in like the 50s. And then it slowly and slowly got, we got lazier and lazier and lazier.
I know where you're going.
And I totally lost my train of thought, but that's where it all started.
Because of the feminist movement in America telling men not to be men.
Right.
And you have a group of human beings raising their sons to be daughters.
Right.
Now, I'm an alpha male, okay? I'll walk into a room, and if there's 5 or 6 alpha males, we will immediately go into dog mode and have a hierarchy, and none of us have a problem with it. Oh, that person's the leader? There we go. They can't do it. You get, and then feminists can't stand it. And by the way, my wife is a conservative Christian woman who is an actual feminist.
Right.
I have 3 daughters. I am a feminist. I'm all about women and equality. I love women. I just called the president's wife smoking hot. Why? Because she's smoking hot. There's nothing wrong with that because I'm a man.
Right.
And there may be women out there that look at the president and go, the president is smoking hot. Why? Because she's a woman. And it's okay for her to say that.
Be a bit weird, but.
What, if she said, if there was a woman who thinks the president's attractive?
Yeah.
I don't care. Sure, that's fine. Go with it.
He's an Oompa Loompa to me.
Because you're a dude.
Well, yeah, okay. I get it.
We have gotten here because we forgot what it meant to be an American. Because we have gone from abundance to apathy to dependence, right?
How do we change it?
I was talking to my wife the other day, and we were having this discussion, and I said, look, look what happens when natural disasters hit the United States. Half of the population is like, I'm going to die, help me. And the other half's like, I'm coming to help you.
Right, running right into the storm. Yep.
We are the half that shows up to help. Where are the truckloads of clothes and food being sent by Antifa? Where are the plane loads of food and clothing being sent by Black Lives Matter? Where are the volunteers with their, only white people have boats because they're privileged.
Right, yeah. Although, did you see that one black guy that pulled his boat out that was being interviewed? And they said, sir, what are you doing down here? He said, well, I figured I had a boat. I could come down here and do something. She said, what's your goal? What's your objective? Why are you here? And he looked at her and said, to save people.
Amen. And I don't care who the guy votes for.
Right.
I don't care
it doesn't matter
what he
at that
believes. It
point.
doesn't matter. It's about being a human being. But look at the 50% of the population that's like, okay, floodwaters are coming. I got nothing. Someone come save me.
Right.
It's the same mentality of a banana peel in a frickin' tree. Oh, my gosh. I'm triggered. I'm the one that's a victim. I'm the one looking for victim status. A banana peel in a tree has found me what I want.
There you go, is because that's the key problem, I think, right there, is just that we have all become victims.
No,
not
all of us have become victims.
No, not all of us, but for like a lot of people, because if that is the victim mindset,
Absolutely.
Is saying, oh, there's a banana, because really it's a banana peel. It's not anything, and I mean, just like the article said, he threw it in the trash.
I know, but look how sinister it really is, man.
But it's not.
No, it is. Because
the banana peel?
Listen to me. Look how sinister it really is.
Elaborate.
I'm triggered by the banana peel in a tree. Everyone pay attention to my victim status, including the person who threw it in the tree for no other reason that he couldn't find he couldn't find a trash can. So somebody else made a judgment about why that was in the tree. Now a national radio show and a national news organization is talking about that person's victim status. And they canceled a 3-day retreat to come together and talk about race and talk about our society. They canceled it. Why? Because the victim stood up and said, I'm more important than every one of you. My perspective and my feelings were hurt, and it's more important than whatever all of you have to say. And then all the little social justice liberal warriors ran up and go, yeah, she's triggered because of the racism in the tree. All of you are not as important as her hurt feelings. Even the guy who threw the thing in the tree was like, I'm sorry for the pain I've caused. Are you freaking kidding me?
He couldn't find a trash can. But it's social media, too.
But her victim status trumped, pun freaking intended, everything.
Yep.
Everybody, everything they were talking about, nothing was settled with race relations. Nothing at Ole Miss got better. The retreat was canceled. Nothing in Greek life was settled. Nothing got better because she got her feelings hurt over nothing.
Right.
Well, that's what I was saying, pretty much.
But that's the sinister side of it. She controlled the argument
for no reason.
Completely.
For no reason at all.
And social media is partly to blame for everybody thinking their opinion matters.
And that's why it's sinister.
I can see that.
All right.
That was good.
Running out of time.
That was good.
We got 7 minutes left to go. We need to pick a douche of the week. This is the part of the show where we pick the person who we believe is the douchiest. I'll go ahead and start.
The fun zone.
It's the fun zone. Of course, I can't name my coworker, my colleague who came to me and said, You conservatives in Texas got what you deserved.
That's not even being human. That's just being like
That is
evil.
a diseased liberal mindset.
Evil.
Because, of course, the rain didn't fall on the Democrat Hillary voters. The floodwaters didn't destroy the homes of the anti-Trump people. It only hurt those conservatives. So, Steve, Bill, Phil, Mike, Chris, you are my candidate for douchebag of the week. Also, the banana peel lady.
Okay.
Makala, whatever her name was, for stopping an actual discussion about race relations
that could help.
Could have helped her victim status. Her parents should be so freaking proud. Her victim status stopped an organization from actually doing something that could have been a benefit to humankind. You are my douche candidate of the week. Congratulations.
I've got James Comey for clearing Hillary Clinton before he even talked to her.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God.
And then I've got Detective Jeff Payne.
Yes, the Utah police officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That drug the nurse out because she was, kind of going by what the Constitution says.
Detective Jeff Payne.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to that story.
Nope.
Wow. And, Mr. Producer, you well thought out. You had a whole week to think about who your douche of the week candidate. Paid attention to the news, watched a little TV, read stories on the internet. Well-educated douche of the week candidate is
Tiger.
Not Tiger Woods.
Not Tiger Woods.
Even though Tiger Woods is pretty douchey.
Well, a little bit, but
Tiger.
Yes, he turned down Paul McCartney to his VIP party after the Grammys, and if you deny.
Why did he turn away Paul McCartney?
I don't know. I think he's got a huge ego.
They didn't know who he was
or something. Are you serious? Is that
serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm positive because
oh my God.
Paul McCartney at the time was on a song with Rihanna, and nobody had any
idea
who Paul McCartney was.
I remember that song. We played that song.
Yeah.
That's the Beatles.
Right.
That's the biggest selling band of all time. And
you should have read the
him?
comments on iTunes of people saying this Paul McCartney's really got a career in music if he really thought about it, and it was angering.
That's pretty douchey.
Yeah,
that's
pretty douchey. How about the entire Academy? Was it the Emmy, the Grammys?
It was the Grammys.
How about the entire Grammys when they did the F Trump song during the commercials?
Oh no, that was MTV. Yeah,
MTV Music Awards.
Yeah,
I haven't heard the song.
I haven't either.
I wanted to get the song and bleep it out and just be like 4 minutes of beep.
Well, it's pretty bad, and
is it as worse as the My Sexual Orientation song from the show, the Netflix show, the Bill Nye Saves the World? That was a bad one.
Oh, I don't know that.
The My Junk song or whatever it was.
What?
You don't know that? Oh, we're gonna pull that for next week.
Yeah,
I want the F Trump song. I want to hear it. I want to hear the F Trump song. I should have pulled that for show prep this morning.
Yeah, I think it was made by those guys that were pointing their guns and telling Trump that if he took away their food stamps, they were going to come and kill him and all this.
However, it's pretty classy to play it during the commercials.
Yeah. They didn't expect people to hear it, but somebody recorded from inside. So,
kind of cowardly.
Yeah.
Just saying.
A little bit.
Take the masks off, Antifa. Have you seen the new websites that are outing all these they're doxing these Antifa people?
Yeah.
Good for you, America.
Yeah, for real.
Good for you.
We need more of them.
Oh, and the mugshots. Hang on, your mic is really loud, by the way. They're not doxing them. They're getting their mugshots and putting them out because mugshots are public domain.
Right.
So they're taking all the Antifa mugshots and putting them out. Okay.
We have 1 minute, so we need to
I say
solidify.
3. I say we got 3 minutes. My watch says 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
Whatever.
I say 2.
Who's our douche of the week?
I don't know. We've all got different ones. We don't have one common in
There's so many good ones / AKA bad ones.
If I had to turn my vote, I think I would have to go to the banana peel lady.
Yep.
Really? See,
yep.
I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking more of the
coworker.
Coworker.
Anybody who says you got what you deserve from a natural disaster.
That's pretty
douchey. I'm going to the douche.
I don't think that's just douchey though. I think that's beyond douchey. That's pretty.
Maybe so.
Bleeping.
Really?
Bleep,
yeah.
bleep, bleep, bleep.
So have we got a next level Uber douche award?
I think we do.
What kind of trophy is he going to get?
He is going to get a one-way trip ticket to the next city hit by a hurricane.
Oh.
Yeah, and a free class for a meteorologist to learn how weather happens. So congratulations, the unnamed coworker who said you conservatives in Texas got what you deserved. Well done. Congratulations, the Uber douche. We now taking it to the next level. Uber douche of the week. Guys, thanks so much for joining us today. We'll be back next week, even though I'm going to be out of town. We'll talk about that after the show. I might be Skyping in. See what happens. And that's the day of the marathon. So figure something out. It's Earl and George. Age Conservative Talk. Continue to spread the word. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Don't believe what we say. Go and do your own research. Get out there and do something nice for someone you don't know. And if there's a Hurricane Harvey relief effort in your town, please, if it's on your heart, do what you can. Donate non-perishable goods. Donate clothing. Donate bottles of water. Donate what they say they need. Don't give them crap they don't. Okay?
Yep.
American Red Cross is a great place to start. It's Earl and George. We love you guys. Thank you. Spread the word. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Right here.